Everybody, welcome to the Fire It Up with CJ show. We have a really special treat. We have Tari Prinster, who's going to be showing us some yoga moves. Thank you so much. And it's for people who have cancer and are looking to boost their immunity system, as well as deal with some of the common side effects like anxiety, fatigue. But this is also for people who are want to do some immunity boosters for COVID. So thank you for showing us these exercises. I'll let you lead from now on. Show us a class.
Thank you, CJ. It's a delight to be here with you. So I am sitting in a makeshift yoga environment that you could do at home, anywhere. I'm sitting on a stack of blankets, just regular folded blankets, and I'm using a very sophisticated yoga prop called paper towels.
I love it.
Because I'm not in a yoga studio, I'm at home, and yoga studios have all this fancy equipment, but we don't need that. But the important thing for someone who is having a compromised immune system is to understand that sitting up tall is the place where we start, because that means if we sit up tall, sitting up on these blankets, lifts my hips up a little bit higher and sort of lets the knees relax so that I'm not very open in the hips. So my knees don't go down to the floor like they might for some people. But I use my paper towels to kind of keep them a little bit more comfortable. But you can see if I'm sitting up tall, my spine is open in the front. It's not slouched like this. Okay, it's not rounded. So the idea is we want to bring our heart forward. That makes our shoulder blades come together on the back of our body. Spine is the highway of all the nurture to the immune system. If we are rounding our spine, we're not allowing ourselves to fully breathe. We are squeezing in on our abdominal organs that do the cleansing of our body, the digestion of our food that keeps our immune system strong. So as long as we're sitting upright and walking upright, we are boosting our immune system. And then from here, we do what is called, and this is what I suggest everybody do, but particularly if you are in cancer treatment and you are a long life cancer survivor, is that you make sure you move your spine in all 5 directions every day. This is what is immune boosting. The spine moves in 5 directions. The first one being, one that's not too obvious, but it is when I breathe in, I feel my vertebrae rise slightly. They get a little bit taller. And then when I breathe out, I want to keep that height. That means I'm using abdominal muscles to keep it tall. So that's the first way to move the spine, is to elongate it with our inhale. And with the exhale, we soften. And that exhale, we learn in Yoga for Cancer, stimulates what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, which increases the sympathetic nervous system to relax. So when we do that, that is how we find that opposite of anxiety, the opposite of stress. So breathing in, I elongate, and breathing out, I begin to bring the parasympathetic nervous system response. So that's one way to move the spine. The other ways, I'm going to place my hands on my knees, and I'm going to inhale and bring my heart forward and take a little bit of a back bend, not looking up at the ceiling, but just slightly forward. When I exhale, I'm going to round the spine. So inhaling, coming forward, that's the second way we move the spine. That's a back bend. And the third way is a rounding of the spine, calling a forward bend. And then I come to neutral with that nice long spine. And here's where I'm going to take one hand and place it down on my stacked blankets or on the side of your chair. Just place them down. Inhale, the opposite arm straight up towards the ceiling. That's elongation again. But here with the out breath, I'm going to side bend over to that opposite side. There you go. That's beautiful. Inhale, come back to center. Bring both arms up, elongation, and side bend to the other side as you exhale. Inhaling back to center. Now here's the really important one. On my exhale, I'm going to twist in one direction. The inhale brings me back to center, and I twist in the opposite direction. So now we come back to center one more time with our in-breath and bring the hands back down onto your knees or your thighs. So those are the 5 ways to move the spine. What we do is put it all together in one big movement. All right. Inhale, little back bend, heart in front of nose. Exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale, one hand up and one hand down. And side bending on your exhale. Inhale, both arms up. And exhale, the other hand down. Side bending to the opposite side. Inhale, back to center. And exhale, twist one way. Inhale, center. And exhale, twist the opposite way. Inhale, back to center. And exhale, hands back down onto your thighs. So what we've done is very precise synchronization of movement and breath, and move the spine in all its 5 directions, which a lot of people forget to do. And it can be done anywhere, seated, on the edge of your bed, on your couch, in your car, wherever. All right. So now what I'm going to do is take my fancy yoga props, and I'm going to come onto my hands and knees. So in keeping the immune system strong, we keep the spine strong, but we also keep the skeleton of the body strong. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting my wrists right underneath my shoulders, my knees right underneath my hips. And I'm going to start synchronizing my breath and movement now to work on some of the other side effects of yoga, one which is fatigue. Inhale, I'm going to take my right leg back. Exhale, I bring it forward between my blocks or the paper towels. Inhale, I come forward again. And exhale, I pull that hip back. Inhale, I come forward. Exhale, I move back. Evidence, research studies show that movement is the cure, is the solution to fatigue. And if we combine the movement with breath, we are making it easier, but we're still getting all the powerful movement of the muscles and bones. So now I'm going to try the opposite leg. Inhale, take the left leg back, and the exhale brings it forward. In breath, always elongating, coming forward, and the exhale is a slight rounding of the spine. Also, a couple of other things that are going on here. When I exhale and I bring my hip back on the exhale, is that I am pumping lymph through my lower torso. There is an exhale that draws the lymph up out of my abdominal organs and is very good for boosting immunity. And then I bring both knees together. And we're going to do just a couple of more. I'm hoping that I can be still seen in my video. I'm going to inhale, one leg back. Exhale, bring it forward. And then I'm going to tuck the toe of the back leg, tuck those toes under. Find a big, strong inhale and lengthen that leg. So now I got lots of movement in my legs and in my chest. Exhale, I squeeze my legs together, straighten both of them, and I keep going back and forth like this. Inhale, forward. Exhale, bringing it back. Inhale, forward again. Exhale, and bring it back. Then come forward and bring the back knee down, and we'll do the opposite side. We're coming back into this sort of hands and knees position. On an inhale, I open my chest and bring the back leg back. The exhale is slowly bringing it forward between my paper towels. Inhale, I come forward. Exhale, I go back. This time, I'm going to tuck my back toes under and use an in-breath to lengthen that leg. Whoa, that's a much bigger movement. Exhale, both legs straighten. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, pulling it back. So we're moving lymph, we're moving muscles and bones, and we are really making ourselves invigorated by boosting the immune system. And overall, I think when we finish doing this, you're going to feel a little less fatigued. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, bring that knee down. Bring both knees down. And from here, what I'm going to do is something that is considered a restorative pose, but rest and restoration is a good thing. And this is one that really doesn't use much in terms of fancy yoga props. All it uses is a nice mat to lie down on. So I'm going to come onto my back supine, and I'm going to lower myself down either on my, move this, lower myself down onto my elbows, bend my knees, separate my feet slightly, and with an inhale, I'm going to lift my chest. So bring the heart forward, and as I exhale, drop both knees to one side. Both go the same direction. Try not to move your feet. Inhale, open that chest, and exhale to the opposite side. Now, inhale, coming back to center, broad across the collarbones. Exhale to one side, and take your gaze to the opposite direction of your knees. Inhaling, come back to center. Exhaling to the opposite side, but take your gaze to the opposite side as well. Inhaling, coming back to the center. And then we'll lower ourselves all the way down onto our backs, supine. Keeping those knees bent and knees locking together, feet wide apart so that they are not together. They're a little wider than the knees. All right? And then from here, I'm going to lift my arms straight up towards the ceiling. And as I exhale, bring them out like a big T onto either side of my body. Inhaling again, stretch your fingers away from each other. And as you exhale, cross your arms across your chest, giving yourself a nice hug. Okay, nothing wrong with when you can't hug anybody else, might as well hug yourself. The in-breath opens the chest out wide, and the exhale is when we always come together, giving ourselves a nice big hug. Doing that 2 more times on either side with your own breath. Remember, synchronizing the breath is the key to yoga. The inhale expands, whether it's the chest or the spine, and the exhale is where we do the big movement of bending, folding, or twisting. So doing that on your own, synchronizing your breath with movement, is also another way that we trap our minds into observing what our bodies are doing. And then slowly now relax your arms down by your side. Bring your knees in towards your chest. And maybe rocks gently from side to side, just a little bit, not to touch the floor, just to slowly relax and maybe even roll the hips a little bit across the lower spine. Lots of weight and pressure that we put on ourselves in our workday world, in our cars, and then begin to let the knees fold onto just one side and take just a little tiny fetal position here for just a moment. And then slowly roll yourself back up to a seated posture. Any seated posture will do. I'm going to sit with my legs out in front, and I'm going to bring my hands into prayer in front of my chest. I'm going to just take a quick survey allow my mind out of its little isolation to just see how I'm feeling now. Do I feel like I've done something for me to boost my immune system? Breath and movement will do that. And also check in with my body where I may have been feeling certain kinds of side effects like fatigue. Am I feeling a little less fatigued? And certainly I know that I have stretched some muscles and worked some muscles around my bones, which builds bones. Let's find the last breath to close our class, which would be from an inhale, a thorough big inhale, and then we'll make the sound of Om together. Om. Namaste.
Namaste. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. Hold up your book so everyone can see. We've been talking to Tari Prinster about her book, Yoga for Cancer, and she just shared with everyone who, during this COVID time, wants to boost their immunity system and feel more energized, some exercises to do. Thank you. What a delight to have you do some yoga poses with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, CJ.
All right, so it means so much to me that you're listening to the show. I would love your support in any way by giving me comments below or to subscribe to the show or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.